Greetings, metaphysicians. This is episode 97, One Ring to Rule Them All. And what came through today is bringing to awareness what or who is ruling your day-to-day life. And do you want that to continue? Or do you want to change what you are ruled by? Enjoy the episode.
You're listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical Podcast. I am your host, Renata Hana Maniaci, here to remind you that you are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. This is episode 97, One Ring to Rule Them All. And this is season 7, Heaven on Earth. I can't yet tell you exactly why this episode title dropped in. I guess we will see as we get into it here. But it was confirmed by something else after it dropped in meditation, and then I saw something else that said pretty much the exact same thing. So here goes nothing. Are you ready? Let's get meta. Masters and angels, I request your presence, support, and guidance. Please allow me to be a vessel for your word, your peace, your love. Help me to know the truth, tell the truth, be the truth, and become the truth. And please allow this episode to reach whoever needs to hear it. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. Bless creation. On some level, we are all being ruled by something or someone or some group. This could be a feeling or emotion such as fear, love. Those are the basic ones. It could also be sadness. Could also be joy. Could also be laws, human laws, spiritual laws, universal laws, belief systems, attachments, your government, your housing board, your job, or even people that you've never even met. Or people that you've never even heard of before. What is ruling over you? What is controlling you? We're seeing a lot of rule and control being thrown around at this time on the planet. It's always been there. Sometimes it's been more present than others. I think it's safe to say that more and more people are understanding what they are being controlled by, what they are being ruled by, or who, or which feelings, or belief systems, or attachments, or obligations, or responsibilities, or people, groups, leaders, bosses, health. This episode, this moment is asking us to look at those things that rule us and to assess whether or not those things are still worthy of ruling us. It might be a great idea to make a list of all the things, people, places, things, attachments, belief systems that are ruling your life. They could be really visible, they could be really invisible. Because what's coming through today is to take inventory. Take inventory of how you are being controlled. Is it your job? Is it money? Your health? Your family? Taxes? Laws? A belief system? Is it your fear? Your love? Your family? Your responsibilities? Your obligations? Your government? What is controlling you? Why do you do the things that you are doing throughout the day? Why are you living the way that you are living right now? Is this the way that you would live if you could live any way that you wanted to? You are a soul. As I say every episode, you are a soul that chose on some level to incarnate into a human body to this planet. Some would say this God-forsaken planet, but this planet, lovely planet Earth, at this time, this incredibly transformative time. Why did you incarnate here? Out of all of the planets, why did you incarnate here, and why did you incarnate as human? Out of all the different things you could have incarnated as. If you had to be here, you are human. Why? Do you remember any other existence? Do you remember any other lifetime? Physical or non-physical? This planet, other planets? Other spaces, other dimensions, other timelines. Some of you do remember your other incarnations and experiences. Most people don't at this time. I am someone who doesn't have extremely clear memories of my past incarnations at this time, but I have extremely clear feelings and knowings of what several of them were like, without knowing details, without being able to recall what things looked like per se, who I was per se. But many of these existences were non-physical, and many of them were in vastly different environments than this planet. Many of them did not involve what we might call the heartache and the hardship and the heaviness and the slogging through that it feels like sometimes on this planet, which many of you consider normal because this is all you remember. This is all I remember on some levels. But I know and feel and remember on some level that this isn't all there is. In fact, this is one very tiny, minuscule planet in the grand scheme of things, and in the grand scheme of where you could choose to incarnate. Or I guess we could say there is the availability to be and incarnate into many different places. Whether or not you have the karma to choose any of those experiences, I don't know. My point being that there are other ways to be that don't involve all the control that we feel here on this planet. And don't get me wrong, it's not like there isn't an order in other places. There is. There's a divine order, maybe a higher level of consciousness order in many places. And there needs to be a structure for things to run smoothly, even on other planets and other dimensions, other timelines. But here, if you really look at it, if you do make that list of the things that are ruling you, controlling what you do and how you live and why you do what you do, it feels like a really controlled planet. And I guess part of this episode is about becoming aware of how you are being ruled and controlled, and then seeing if you are able to shift any of that. It might just be a mindset shift. It might just be deciding you're not going to be ruled by certain things anymore. Or you might decide to change the things that you're ruled by and just decide in your mind. Because I do believe that the biggest war happening right now is the battle for our minds, which I talked about, I don't know. I think that episode was sometime in the 70s. Episode 70-something and 70-something, 2 parts, the battle for minds. And I haven't talked about that specifically lately, but we are so in it. Our biggest war right now is this battle for our minds. What can we trust? What can we look at and know is true? Fully 100% true. Where do they have us looking? Who's they? The powers that be. What do they want us to see and what don't they want us to see? What do we feel is true? What do we know is true? What do we feel and know is not true? What are we unsure about? But what's certain is that there are people that are pulling the strings of what you see and what you don't see, what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say, even more today than maybe ever before, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. That more censoring is happening right now on a global level than possibly ever before on this planet. Why is that? Why is that? It's interesting to me, the censoring part. It's almost backfiring on those that are doing the censoring because people are actually really smart and intelligent. When something gets censored, it almost makes you want to find it more. See what that person is saying. See what that group is saying more than if you would have just not censored it in the first place, and maybe only a few people would have been interested to even see it. But why is there so much control over speech right now, and ideas, and beliefs? Who's ruling that? Who's controlling that? It's almost as though the things that are being censored might be the things that are true. It's almost as though the information that you can get really easily and freely and they blast everywhere on TV and the internet, and I don't know if anyone listens to the radio anymore. I guess some people are listening to podcasts. But it's almost like any stories that are easily available, it's too simple. Is that true? Is everything that's really easily available true? So in this war for minds, I've up-leveled it. I don't think it's a battle anymore. I have 2 episodes, part 1 and 2, the battle for minds. It feels like a war now. Back when Facebook started, I remember I was just entering college. I think I was my first year of college when Facebook really became available. You could say whatever you wanted. Nobody was taking down your posts. Nobody was kicking you off of that site. That was what everybody loved about it, is you could just share whatever you wanted to share. And we're so massively far away from that now. We're so far away from that now. And there's, sharing platforms like that have exploded over the last 15 years. I don't even have to name any of them. You understand all of them. But who's controlling those platforms and what you get to say and what you don't get to say? I left most social media because of all the censoring going on. I still put my episodes on YouTube. Most people don't listen on YouTube. Most people listen on regular podcasting sites, like wherever you're listening from now. But some people listen on YouTube, so I keep putting them up. But one of my episodes got taken down for literally, I don't even know why. The reasons they gave me were absolute crap. I hesitate to even name that episode, lest they take this one down too. But that episode was Conspirituality. That was the title. And YouTube took it down. I think it said that it had 9 views. And they took it down. And right around then was when I said, that is enough of that. Yes, I stayed on YouTube, because there are people who find the podcast that way. But I got off of all the other conventional social media. I didn't want there to be something that controlled what I could and couldn't say. And I guess if I was really going all the way, I'd get off of YouTube as well. I haven't made that choice yet. Maybe I will. Maybe there's an alternative. Maybe there's something better. Maybe some of my listeners can share those alternatives with me. What are you being ruled by? Figure it out and decide if you want to continue to be ruled by those things. I'm not saying that everything that rules you is bad. On the contrary, I feel like in large part my life is being ruled by the divine. And I don't mind that. I'm totally good with that. I believe in the universe. I believe in the divine. I believe in the good and the light. And if that's what I feel is ruling me, I'm okay with that. So I'm guessing that for most of you, you have a mixed bag of things, people, groups, ideas, beliefs, attachments, etc., that you're being ruled by. So on this time around the equinox, I encourage you all to figure out what those things are and go through them and decide what you are still okay with being ruled by and what you are not okay being ruled by. Because this is an excellent time to plant new seeds and to move forward with a different mindset, maybe a different heart set about what you want to rule you. Do you want anything to rule you or anyone to rule you? And if you do, what is it? We're at a turning point here. I believe we're at a turning point on the planet, and everything is going to start changing. And there's a lot of people out there who think it's going to start changing for the worse, because the last couple of years have certainly looked like that, from my vantage point as well, on the human level. But ever the optimist, I think all of this is going to change for the better. I believe that the light will win the war of the minds. I think it's just taking longer than any of us would like. There's still so many people whose minds are trapped by everything that those who are ruling right now want us to see And they only want us to see certain things, and that's what they show. I guess that's why the episode is called One Ring to Rule Them All. It is a popular reference, Lord of the Rings, blah, blah, blah. But if it's not of the light, then I don't want it to rule me. I don't want it to control me. And so I get to make choices about what I am going to allow to rule over me now. And I do believe that that choice is actually more in your mind than you think it is. Has to do more with your mindset, what you choose to believe, what you choose to attach to, what you choose to allow to control you, than even the outer physical things like money and family. And if you can change your mind, you can change everything else. So try it. Try it. If you want to. If this is resonating with you on some level. You get to decide what you are ruled by, who you are ruled by. Maybe even not in the physical sense on the planet, because we have needs. We have to pay rent and put food on the table, etc. All those 3D earthly human things. But don't you still have control of your mind? I hope you do. And if you don't, I hope you will soon. I'm going to leave the episode portion right there. Our bonus content for today is a clearing of anything that might be binding you that is not of the light. That will be the intention for the clearing. Anything ruling, controlling, or binding you that is not of the light and is not for your best and highest good at this time. If you want access to this clearing, become an angel donor of any tier at patreon.com/letsgetmeta, and you will have access to all the bonus content, most of which are clearings, like this one. I also, again, want to encourage anyone who is listening that has a question or would like to hear about a certain topic to email me at info@letsgetmeta.com. Email the show, because every once in a while we get requests for different topics or wanting to answer certain questions, and I'm happy to get into a state with my intuition and see what comes through on that. I guess another part of this episode is that, if you do have something ruling you, let it be of the light. Let it be of the divine. Let it be something that is going to lead to a higher level of consciousness in your soul's evolution, if that's what you're into. If you're listening to this podcast, that is probably what you might be into. But if we're going to be ruled by something, make sure that you're deciding what that is, at the very least, in your own mind. I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for listening. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up, and Awaken production. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. If you are ready to raise your vibration, you might enjoy our free Let's Get Meta Master Clearing. To receive the Master Clearing or to learn more about the podcast, visit letsgetmeta.com. The show is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.